Mr. Speaker, that answer just doesn't fit the facts. It's been over 7 months since the Trade Minister boasted all of the substantive issues have now been resolved. Well, that's clearly not true. Beef and pork, the investment chapter, rules of origin requirements, and more were not settled then, and they're not resolved now. Wow. Canadians want a good trade deal with Europe, so where is the promised deal? When will Canadians see the actual text of CETA?
Very good. The Honourable Parliamentary to the Minister of Trade.
Mr. Speaker, as that member knows, as a colleague of mine on the Trade Committee, this agreement is historic, and all of the fundamental principles, including reduction of tariff lines, including phase-in years, including a region-by-region breakdown on how beneficial this agreement will be, was all released, Mr. Speaker. In fact, the European ambassador to Canada praised Canadian documents outlining the details of this agreement and said in Europe they use the Canadian details to showcase the agreement, Mr. Speaker. The final agreement will come before this House, which is a precedent our party established in getting all agreement for these trade agreements.
The Honourable Member for Vancouver Kingsway.
Mr. Speaker, we heard that line 7 months ago. Mr. Speaker, clearly the minister has failed to close this trade deal with Europe. So why did the Prime Minister fly off to Brussels last year at the height of the Senate scandal? Will the Prime Minister tell us how much his European photo op has cost Canadian taxpayers?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, what we see today, sadly, is the true NDP. In some circles, they praise trade because they know 1 in 5 Canadian jobs are directly attributable to our exports. Yet when they're in other places or at national meetings of unions, they bash trade and try and oppose all of our agreements, whether it's with Europe, whether it's with Korea. Mr. Speaker, our government has launched the most ambitious diversification of our trade relationships in Canadian history. 1 in 5 jobs now are attributable to trade, Mr. Speaker. We want to see those secure, and we want more in the future. It's time for the NDP to get behind it.